Hi, I'm Thierry, and I narrate the old classic books that you find on this Hypnos and Apollo channel. What I really like about these classics is that even though the wisdom was written down sometimes centuries, ages ago, they still apply very much to our modern lives. The same for today's hero of the story, which is Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu, a general from the old Chinese armies, a legend. He is supposed to have been one of the best ever generals that the Chinese army produced. This was 2,500 years ago. The lessons that he wrote down back then still apply today. The topic I chose for today is how to lay plans. He looks at it as how a general manages to lay plans that will be executed against by a whole army. If you work in a team or if you lead a team, there's bound to be a few things in there that will help you. He identifies 5 constant factors. 1, the moral law. 2, heaven. 3, earth. 4, the commander. And 5, method and discipline. So what do these mean to us? How can we apply them in our daily lives? And how can we get things done with these? First one, the moral law causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger. What I find really interesting is this regardless of their lives bit. It's a little bit out of tune with how we perceive jobs these days. I don't expect you to die for your boss, nor will your boss do the same for you, I suppose. But the other element there is interesting. He says you have to be one unit, one team. Now, this is something that we throw around as a word pretty often. Yeah, we're a team. But what does this really mean? I found 5 questions that really will make you think about whether you have a team around you or not. These, by the way, are taken from the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. It's a real treat, so I really recommend you to read the book. It's also very short. Let's get into the questions. So, as a team, do you trust each other? Do you handle conflicts, or do you just ignore, complain? Are you committed as a team? Do you hold each other accountable? And are you focused on the results, or is everyone just ego tripping? 2, heaven signifies night and day, cold and heat, times and seasons. So how does the context affect your situation? Often we forget about this. But the elements around us have a huge impact of how we go about our day. Think of the weather. Think of the time of day, the time of the year, so the seasons. How do these impact the way that you go through life? If you want to be successful with your team, think of when you organize certain meetings. When will you plan, for example, a status update in wintertime when people are coming to the office, coming through a snowstorm perhaps. It's early in the morning, still dark outside. The first thing that they want to do, of course, when coming to the office is attend that status update meeting and tell you all about how they're going to have a productive day. I think not. Ideally, of course, all of these small elements would not affect how we perform as human beings. But last time I checked, we're not machines yet, so... 3. Earth comprises distances, great and small, danger and security, open ground and narrow passes, the chances of life and death. Again, this idea of life and death, perhaps a stretch in our context. Where will you organize certain events, certain meetings in your office space? Some areas are more suitable to certain types of decisions than others. You won't take a massively consequential decision in an open space. You'll probably want to have a secluded room where everyone can have some deep thoughts, perhaps with some large windows looking out so that people can focus on things grander than just the walls of the room. 4. The commander stands for the virtues of wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness. Perhaps you're familiar with this expression, fish rot from the head down. And this is really talking about leadership. If your leader is rotten, imagine what the team will do. If you have a leader who sets up a team structure and a team culture conducive to success, this will make it a successful team, very likely. When you have a leader who displays positive qualities, most times the team members will try to copy these behaviors. They will know what the standard is to deliver against, and they will happily comply. On the other hand, leaders who do not behave in this way will probably have very different outcomes. 5. By method and discipline are to be understood the marshalling of the army in its proper subdivisions, the gradations of rank among the officers, the maintenance of roads by which supplies may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure. So really, what are the nuts and bolts to make a team work? Do you have the logistics and operations set in place to be successful? Do you have an idea about how to do maintenance, how to set up your processes, how to divide the roles? Teams that do not have these foundations set in place will not, or will with very great difficulty, deliver against plans. So make sure that your plans are not thwarted just by the logistics and operations of your team. These were the 5 constant factors as stated by Sun Tzu to be successful in laying plans and executing against them. If you'd like to hear the fully narrated chapter, please check out the audiobook over here. Relax, get inspired, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!